everyone, it's Annie, and today I am a little bit late in doing this, but I am doing my quarterly stats for quarter one. I really love stats, and I love my book spreadsheet that I have. I'll link it down below. I got it from a YouTuber whose name I'm forgetting, but I will link their channel down below, and I'm obsessed with it because I love just analyzing things and looking at what I'm reading, and I wanted to check back and see if I am reaching my goals for reading. So let's get started. So I read 73 books in total for January, February, and March, which is insane. That is more than I read in most years previously. I guess it's Booktube's influence, honestly. Since I started this channel, I've been reading consistently about 20 or more books a month. I'm finding so many new books that I want to read, and I just can't stop. I love them. And it's just so much fun, and I love it. I just love reading, and I'm really happy that I discovered this huge love of reading that I have, and I am very, very happy with that number. I read 24 books in January, 22 books in February, and 27 books in March. So, a lot of books. In January, I participated in the Scooby-Doo readathon, and in February, I don't remember. Did I participate in any readathons? I probably did, and I just am not remembering. But in March, I participated in Middle Grade March and the Irish readathon. So I read a ton of books for those two, which was very exciting. So out of those 73 books, 45 were adult books, 19 were YA, and 9 were middle grade books. Which makes sense because March was middle grade March, and I read a lot of middle grade, which I have not done before, and I really enjoyed myself. I've discovered a new love for middle grade, especially historical fiction middle grade, so I am very happy about that. And the YA stat makes sense. I definitely do read mostly adult books, so this is right on target. Then I read 57 female authors, 14 male authors, and 2 non-binary authors. Now, I know some people kind of do this a little bit more detailed, but I edited this spreadsheet to just have these 3 identities because it is really difficult to find accurate information, and some authors out there might not want that information to be public, and I think it's just easier to do this. And I didn't say non-binary, actually I said other, so that kind of is an all-encompassing label, I suppose. I just think that this is what works for me. Of course, if you want to be more detailed, all power to you, that's amazing, and it is a lot of work, so I admire you. But I am proud of this. I am actually really surprised that I even read this many male authors, because I don't try to read only female authors, but that's just what I gravitate towards. So yeah. And I read 50 audiobooks. Makes sense. I've mentioned this many times before that that is my preferred way to read. And I read 22 ebooks, mostly ARCs on NetGalley, and 1 physical book. So yeah, I again don't read many physical books because it's hard to access them living abroad, and I can't just go to the library and get a physical book. I have to order it online, or be very, very lucky and have people give them to me as gifts, which doesn't happen very often. So that's that. And let's go into the ratings. So I think I had a very positive first quarter of 2021. I had 17 5-star books, 10 4.5-star books, 20 4-star books. That's already like amazing. More than half of my books, a lot of books were very, very positive for me, so I'm very happy about that. and 8 were 3.5, still very positive. 9 were 3 stars. Only 3 books were 2.5, and 4 books got 2 stars from me. As of now, I haven't had any 1.5 or 1-star books, so that's awesome. I'm taking this as a sign that I am more in tune with my own reading taste now, and I can more successfully choose books that I will like, instead of just reading randomly and being disappointed all the time. Of course, there have been a few disappointments, but you can't win them all, and I think this is very successful in terms of the numbers. So let's get into how diversely I read. I wanted my goal to be at least 50% authors of color and 50% white, and I read 56.2% white authors. I think that's pretty close, obviously could do better, but I am personally happy with that number. And I read, in the breakdown, 9 Black authors, 17 Asian authors, 3 Indigenous authors, 1 Latinx author, 2 authors of mixed race, and 41 white authors. So again, I could do better, but compared to years previously, I have been much more conscious of the diversity of authors that I am picking up, and that isn't to say that I'm avoiding white authors, obviously I'm not, but I think it's just important to be conscious of who you're reading and why you're reading who you're reading. So I am personally happy with this number. I am actually filming this a little bit into April, so I already know that I have about 51% white authors now, so I think I'm doing pretty good. And then let's get into the genres. So I'll tell you my top genres. 17 fantasy books. Yes. 13 sci-fi books. Makes sense. I'm very happy about that. 12 nonfiction books, which makes a lot of sense. I usually end up reading about half nonfiction and fiction at the end of the year. Right now it is not that, as you can see, but I'm happy with 12 right now. Again, there's Nonfiction November happening, in which I usually read only nonfiction books. That's what I did last year, so I'm anticipating reading a lot towards the end of the year. And then I read 13 historical fiction books. So those are usually my 4 top genres, so it makes perfect sense that those are the top this year as well. And I also read some contemporaries, graphic novels, which is surprising. I never read graphic novels, but I did read some. I don't think I've mentioned them on this channel yet because they're part of a secret TBR video, and I really enjoyed the ones that I read, so I am hoping to pick up some more in the future. And I read some horror, mystery thrillers, and 2 romances, which is also surprising. But I'm pretty sure they were Pride, which is a Pride and Prejudice retelling, and some other retelling or something. Yeah, those are pretty good for me and my goals. So now I'm going to touch on the more specific reading goals that I had for me this year. First, my biggest one is to read all of Jane Austen's works. I succeeded in reading Sense and Sensibility, and it was okay. It wasn't my favorite. I gave it 3 stars. It's not like I hated it, but I didn't love it as much as I love some of her other books. But I'm very glad that I read 1. So I have 3 more, which are Emma, Northanger Abbey, and Mansfield Park. But I already have planned when I'm going to read those because I am reading them during the Jane Austen Down Memory Jane Readalong, hosted by many great booktubers, and I will link that down below if you want to check it out. We're also reading some retellings that have been great so far of Jane Austen's works, so definitely check that out. And yeah, I'm just really happy that I get to read all of her works together with these awesome people. I am also participating in 2 big reading challenges. First is Book Riot's Read Harder Challenge, and I am 45% done with that, which is amazing. I'm very, very happy with that. And I have doubled up a little bit, I think, but not too much. And then I am also doing the Reading Women's Challenge, and I love this challenge so much. I think these challenges are also really helping me read more diversely because the prompts are just diverse, especially the Reading Women's Challenge. Their theme this year is to read women authors in translation. So that's a great theme for me. And I read 36% of the prompts so far, which is perfect. You know, it's only the end of quarter one, so I think I'm doing pretty much on task. I'm pretty much there. And to end this quarterly stats video, I wanted to talk about the standout book from each month. Now, I don't know if these are going to end up being on my best of 2021 list, but as of now, these are my favorite books that I've read for January, February, and March. In January, it would have to be The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. I adored this book. It is about these three sisters who are witches in the suffragette era, and this book is so unapologetic about being a woman, and I love the sisters. I loved their dynamic, and I just love this book so much. It's so magical. The audiobook especially is wonderful to listen to, and it's just such a magical experience. I really, really loved it. And for February, I have to choose Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. This book's writing was gorgeous. Just some of the most beautiful writing I have ever read. It's so sad. It's a very, very dark, sad book. It is dealing with Hamnet, who was William Shakespeare's son, and his twin sister, and it deals with the Black Plague, and it is very sad. But it also touches on their mother a lot. Instead of focusing on Shakespeare himself, they focus on his wife, and I loved this. I thought it was brilliant, just a brilliant, brilliant book. And for March, my favorite book was a middle grade book, and it was Root Magic. I loved this book so much. I gave it 5 stars. I mean, obviously, I gave these 3 books 5 stars. And it was just so cute and magical and so good, like flawless in my opinion. Just so, so good. It's about these twins who are growing up in South Carolina in the 1960s, and they have to deal with, you know, a lot of racism, and also not just racism, but being alienated from the Black community because they practice what's called root magic. And I just loved their exploration of their family relationship and also the differences between the twins, Jezebel and Jay, if I'm remembering his name correctly. And seeing them learn the root magic was so, so great. I loved them. I thought the writing was really evocative. You could really feel like you were in the marshlands of South Carolina, and I loved this book. If you have not checked it out already, please do. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I know I love watching stats updates from other booktubers, so that's why I wanted to do this. And if you enjoyed, please let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more bookish videos in the future. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day. I'll see you next time. Bye!